Welcome to Board Game Empire. Today we're going to do an overview and review of Bitoku. Now, this is a point style type of game. There's many different paths you could go. There's a path in the very top where you could go. There's also a path at the very bottom of your main board on the right that you'll be able to create your own path that way. There's also buildings you could pretty much build, and that helps you in certain ways. It helps when your opponent pretty much could use it, and so you could collect resources, collect points. It depends on the building. There's also different things you could do at the bottom where you collect crystals, which are pretty much things that you'll be able to put on the top of your board and at the center. And each time you put a card, you'll be able to use its effect, and also gets you points at the end of the game. Also, when you build the buildings, you unlock certain points at the end of the game as well. But there's many different things you could do. There's a dice that you be 3 dice that you start the game with, and then you'll be able to go through to the top, which is like a river, lake, I'm not sure what it is, and then you'll be able to do more things. Very strategic type game, and it has a lot to it. And so we're just going to go over the overview of how the game works, and then we'll do a review. Okay, so first you start out with 5 cards. The way you can identify the 5 cards you'll be for your team, in the top right, you'll have a flag, and you'll have to pretty much collect the ones that have the same icon. And then once you have that, I'm not going to go to the straight setup. I'm just going to go over the overview how the game works. So you have those 5 cards. You shuffle. Then you have 4 cards. You grab 4 cards. Out of those 4 cards, you pick 3. Those 3 cards will pretty much be throughout each round placed in the center of your main board. And once you are able to place those 3 in the main board and use all your dice, that pretty much ends the round. And so the way you play is you could put the first one, you pretty much have to put the card on the left. Once you have the card on the left, then it unlocks the dice. Once you unlock the dice, then you'll be able to use it at your next turn. But the first card, you'll be able to use and collect stuff from the bottom of the card. And a lot of times those are resources, buildings, where you can build stuff and do different things. Now, you're also able to obtain different things throughout the board. And certain spots, you have to use the dice to obtain it, and they'll have a dice number indicated on the slots. The way that works is you'll be using from the dice slot all the way to the bottom, and then you'll be able to pretty much use those areas, I guess. And then there's also areas that you'll be able to obtain, or items you'll be able to obtain at the very bottom. Those items you'll be able to put on your board. And the center aspect of the board, when you place those, and those are normally the crystals, crystals, right? Mm-hmm. And you'll be able to, once you use your card, then you'll be able to use that item or that crystals icon. And then the other ones will be different color. Once you obtain those, you'll be placing at the top, from left to right is what I would figure. Then there's also little, what are these called? Caves?
Something rocks. Something rocks.
These are rocks that...
Iwakura rocks.
Yeah, these are the only items that throughout the game you will not shuffle new items in the main board, the center board. Those stay. Those are the rocks. I think, let's see, there's 3, 6, 7 of those rocks. Those do not get replenished. Those are, once you've bought them, that's it. And so you'll be able to obtain those, and then you'll be able to put characters on the left and the right, and that helps unlock those.
The pilgrims.
Yeah, the pilgrims. There's the path on the very top right, or on the very top. That is the path where you'll be able to get a lot of things, and you want to pretty much go in that top path just simply because of the vision cards. If you want to complete a lot of those vision cards, you have to have gone in certain areas or obtained certain things in the path. And that's with a lot of this game. The vision cards, you have to complete a certain amount of things to actually score the points for it in the game. Let's see. Then there's the vision cards. There's many different vision cards you'll get for end-game scoring. Those are with I forget what type of fish this is.
I have no idea.
My mom used to have that.
Is that a koi?
Yeah, it's a koi fish. My mom used to have several koi fish, but once you obtain those, you're going to want to follow them because those are actually the ones that will give you the most points. There are certain things that give you a lot of points as well. And these little slots here.
Those are called the Kadamas. We call them little bags.
Yeah, Kadamas. Now, these score you a lot of points because in the top right, you'll notice it has like 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, which is almost the same amount of points you also get in the vision. So those are your highest scoring areas, I think. But for the most part, at the end of the game, there might be people that or individuals that score over 100 points. And so you'll be flipping your flag at the very top right once you score over 100 points. And I think I covered pretty much most of it. So the dice do help because once you will be able to raise the dice level with certain items that you get in the game. Because once you go over the lake or the river, it goes down 1. And then if it's at 6, it goes down to, I think, 3, right?
Yes.
So that you're going to want to keep your dice level high because the dice level is what's going to allow you to get more stuff once you place them.
And you can increase it there's these tokens with little pips on them that you'll be obtaining. They're very easy to obtain. They allow you to go 1, 2, or 3 pips up when you place your die on the board.
And you're going to want to do that also because if your opponent has a higher number of dice and you're in the same area, you won't be able to use the first part of the area if your dice number is lower. So that's pretty much how it works, the game, for the most part. And so we're just going to jump right into the review. So what did you think about the overall rules of the game?
The rules are, I will say, you get most games have a player card. You get a player booklet with this game. It's like a pamphlet. So, and it's very much needed because there's so much to this game. And like, for instance, it took us probably an hour just to learn it. Yeah. And then another 2 hours or more to play it because we had to constantly reference the book and the player aid card throughout.
So it probably took us 4 or 5 hours in total.
Our first game.
And which is understandable because like setup time, it takes 30 minutes, 30 or more minutes just to set up, especially your first time.
Yeah.
And I think that even if it is your first time, it's going to take 25, 30 minutes to set up. And so for me, I think the role was pretty easy because the booklet that they give you also references page, so you could get more in-depth knowledge of
so you're going to be referencing the rule book, which is fairly thick, and this constantly, definitely your first few games. Especially
if you're not familiar with a lot of the names, since we're not from this location, so we don't. I mean, I'm Japanese, or part Japanese, but I don't know a lot of this terminology and everything. So, but the rules, I think, they are well written. Yeah, well written, easy to follow.
There's just a lot of them.
It's just a lot. So, okay, so what did you think about the overall components?
The components are really nice. They're really, really well made. I think this game is very well made. I could tell they put a lot of time and thought into this, and
historical
threw the kitchen sink into it, basically, because there's so much going on. And I will say the board definitely kind of gives me a headache. Less so once I played more, because I knew more. I knew what those areas were. But when you first look at this board, and once you get it set up, it's very overwhelming. There's so much going on. There's so much to look at. It's very busy. So it gave me kind of a headache.
And that's a factor that I've seen from a lot of people that have mentioned or talked about this game. It's so busy that if your eyes get strained, you will get like headaches or migraines just from playing it, because there's so many items and things to look at. And
after setting it up, I mean, it was a little frustrating to set up, because the icons are really small in the book that you're trying to match up. They're naming the names because they know what they are, but there's many different types of tiles, so they're giving you the name. You have to reference a different page. That is one qualm I have with this book. There's not enough pictures. There's no pictures of the board set up. There's pictures of the tiles that you have to reference on a different page, and they do have them. I mean, there is a picture. I take that back. There is a picture, but it's really small, so it's just hard to really follow it. So it was a struggle bus just to match those up and figure out. We finally just watched a video. This guy is amazing. Then run through. I don't know how you pronounce it. He's amazing. Yeah. He did a video of just totally on the setup, and I'm so glad we found that, because it made it so much easier than trying to struggle through the rule book. Yeah, I'll reference the link down below. He's amazing. Yes, he, unlike a lot of the ones we've seen, he actually covers like all the player counts as opposed to just one player count. Because this board is two-sided, so it's different for solo and two-player versus 3 and 4. Yeah, well, there's 3. Three has one setup, and then 4 has a different setup. And then he did a how to play video, which we also watched. Yeah. He's just very thorough, very, very meticulous, and he's very, very good at explaining it in a way. And this is a game to follow it. This is a game that really needs that, and so I would definitely look at that video. He did an amazing job. If not, you're going to be reading. I mean, not all of this. 30 pages. Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, and a lot of it is reference material, but you would be. And it kind of goes, it is a well-written rule book, but it does jump around a lot. You have to go here and there and here and there to find information. So I do better, I'm more of a visual learner. So that's why I like the Stonemaier games, they have the pictures that lead you throughout as well as telling you how to play it. It visually allowed me to see what the rule book is talking about, and then it's easy to flip through the book and reference it and figure out, oh yeah, that's what they're talking about. So it was we will put those links, because that definitely is a must watch if you've never played this game. Okay, so what you overall experience? I love the mechanics. I do love the mechanics of this game. Next is mechanics. And that goes along with my experience, because my experience, I think it's a great game. It is a great game, but I rate it lower because, one, the setup is intense. Yeah. The board is really busy. I think they should have simplified this game a little bit. I think they went there's too much going on. Yeah, they should introduce a base game and then added expansions. Right. It's too much for a base game, in my opinion. And it's not that I couldn't do it. I could follow it, but just not many people have time to spend 3 to 4 hours to learn a game, including playing it. But that first game is such a struggle. You're going to have to play it again to really enjoy the game. You'd have to play it again. So that means if you put this game away, you're going to have to set it up again. That's another 35 minutes. And then kind of refresh yourself unless you play it right away the next day. of how to play it. So not many people will have time to invest that long into a game. So for me, the experience, I do like the game. It is a good game. It's a great game. But for me, with my busy lifestyle, it's not the right game for me. So the experience was kind of frustrating for me.
So for me, the experience was a little bit the same, more so with the setup. The setup was just way longer than it had to be. I think there's certain images that they could have provided, except having these punch outs where, it crosses like a little cross off and says 3 or 4, like a lot of board games do, except having punch outs.
Yeah, the punch outs are 2-sided, so one's for 4-player, the other's for 3-player.
Yeah, they could have just extended it and then just have like 3, 4 in the bottom, and like a lot of games do.
Right.
I think that would simplify and cut back on the time of setup, probably save 10 minutes, because you're looking up how to set up, and the actual manual or rules don't have like a clear picture. And so you're constantly looking, and so that takes a little while. But I really enjoy the game. I think that the mechanics are some of the best.
Yeah.
So we're going to jump into the mechanics. You want to talk about, or you want me to do?
Well, it has great mechanics. It really, I love the mechanics. It's point salad. It's a little bit, there's not that much take that.
No.
I mean, only take that in this game, I wouldn't even call it take that, is kind of blocking your, the Kodama, what are those called? Is it Kodama? I call them bags, Kodama bags, but they look like little bags. You're moving these, there's 5 tracks. You can push your opponent back and move forward. That's really the only take that in this game. And you can block if you know they're going to go up here to try to obtain cards or resources by crossing the river. You can block them. And also you can put your die roll so high by adding pips to it where there's no way, because you have to always have a higher die roll, or no, it's not a roll, a higher dice number than the previous person here to be able to obtain the reward. So you
utilize all of the area.
So you could really mess with people by making all your 6s, then they would not be able to obtain this part. They would only be able to use this part where they can build a building. So, or use resources from one of the already built buildings. So that's really the only take that in this game. But I love the mechanics of the point salad, in-game bonus points, and all of that. It's just, they needed to scale it back just a tiny bit. I would say removing that track on top is...
Yeah, and just have it as an expansion.
Right.
So, yes, then it would appeal to more people. It cut back the play time.
Setup time.
Yeah, the complexity and everything. And so it would be easier to bring it back to the table.
Yes.
So for me, the mechanics, wow, I love the mechanics of this game. I think it's phenomenal. It's very creative in some of the way they coincide with each other and how they make it flow. There's so many, because if you do one thing, it affects the other thing. It's just like all effects. It's a growing world as you play, pretty much, because everything affects everything. And so I totally love the mechanics. I think that this is one of the best complex games out there that pretty much utilizes all the board. And so, because a lot of times you'll have areas where it's not really useful and a lot of people don't go to it. And so with this game, you could go in every aspect of every part of the board, and it gives you points for end game. And so, and there's resources you can collect and stuff. So it utilizes every aspect of the board.
The vision cards kind of pull all that together too, because the vision cards you'll be obtaining throughout the game. Like I had 4. I think we both had 4 in the game. Quentin had what, 2 or 3?
2.
That is the way. Like I got over 100 points by the end of the game, because I was able to complete all my vision cards, and I was able to get points for my by basically I call it leveling up your starter deck. You get those cards up here when you cross a river. They do level up the cards, the the things you can get and the in-game bonus points if you sell them. Or you can sell them anytime, actually, at the end of the round. You can sell them for victory points. But it's basically that those vision cards tie it all together, and you do have to do a little bit of each area to be able to obtain those points.
So what do you think about replayability?
For me, not replayable, because not that I don't like the game.
Setup.
It's just too long. I am so... Yeah. I have a blog. I work full-time. We do this. We have a house. Like, there's just... A game this long is just not feasible in my lifestyle. When I'm retired, sure, I would play this game. I would definitely play this game, but that's a long time from now. So maybe when I'm retired. But
so for youngsters and elders,
people
that don't have kids yet or house,
that don't have tons of things going on. So, but for me, it's not one I would bring back to the table anytime soon.
So I agree with the replayability simply because of the setup time, and the setup time is like 30, 35 minutes. So the teardown is always shorter, but it also is still quite, you want to keep everything organized. So it's going to take 20, 25 minutes. So you're almost looking at an hour just to set up and tear down. Mm-hmm. Then you're doing the replayability. You have to relearn it because it's a little more complex game. So you're going to spend 20 minutes, maybe 20, 25 minutes to relearn it. And so you're looking at an hour and a half just before you even get to play it. And then if you have to teach someone.
Oh, yeah. That would be hard to teach.
You'll be looking at 30 extra minutes. So you're looking at 2 hours just for replayability factor.
Yeah.
And so it's an amazing game, but the replayability, I think, is very limited.
You would have to play with the same game group.
Yeah, constantly.
Yeah.
So, or someone who, hopefully introduces someone else, so you don't have to do the teach.
Right.
So, yeah, replayability, very limited in this game. Mm-hmm. So what did you think about overall total? Score 110.
Only because of the time it takes. It is an excellent game. Like, mechanics-wise, it's definitely a 9 for me, but the fact that it was so frustrating, I would have to round that down to a 7.
Yeah. For me, I would give it like an 8, 8.5. I think if someone set it up and tore it down.
And reminded us how to play.
Yeah. I would give it like a 9, 9.5. But since I'm the one who normally has to set it up and tear it down, so you're looking at me having to spend an hour doing this, and then Amanda normally does the relearning of the game or learning the game. I do occasionally, but for me, overall total, I'm giving this like an 8 because I think it's kind of limited for, like she said, our lifestyle, and it's just going to be hard to get back to the table. We're keeping it.
Oh, yeah.
Because when we retire, we're playing. Hey, she said it. I'm a whole.
I would definitely, if I had more time, I would definitely enjoy this game.
Yeah.
Like it was just
drink a couple cocktails.
I just
play
don't
a game.
have the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always squeezing in all my things in a day, and I never get it all done.
And this is probably a game that if you're listening to music, watching TV, and just playing like in front of something, it'd probably go fast. But as a board game channel, we have to like really dive deep and dissect the game so we could represent it and pretty much give our thoughts. So we're not able to like drink and watch TV because we want to remember what we played, and so it's a little harder for us to get into the game freely without having to like almost feel like it's homework. And so for this game, I'm giving it an 8. Anything else you want to say?
No.
So great game. I think this is a great game for people like complex games, long games, younger, elderly who are retired,
or
who have the
people
time.
that just have more time that don't have a million things going on.
Yeah, kid,
Like if you have your weekends where you're not busy.
We've never had that, so
No, you would love this game if you like the complex games like this.
Yeah.
But I think majority of Americans, I know overseas it's a totally different mentality, but Americans, we work way too much.
Yeah.
And we never really stop working.
Yeah. There's always a hustle.
Yeah, and side hustles. We have several side hustles on top of my job.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I know overseas it's more of a relaxed, which I wish I knew how that felt.
But,
So yeah, it totally depends on your lifestyle, but it is an excellent game.
yeah.
It is.
I love the theme.
Yeah.
I love that theme.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like this video, please like, subscribe. Social media is down below in the description. We'll have a link of where to buy the game. And we currently do have a giveaway for
8 games.
8 games. This is 2022. So if you're looking at this prior, like after that, this is not you.
Yeah, we're the giveaway ends December 25th, 2022. And it is, sorry guys, it's US only because we have to pay to ship all these games. So
yeah, they weren't, we didn't contact like last year, the distributors in time or the game developers. So these are games that we're sending out. And so we're probably going to be spending a couple $100 just to ship it to people. And so we're limited.
They're great games.
Yeah, they're great games. So we're limited to the US.
Yeah.
Maybe next year we'll do like we did the year before.
So we'll put that link in the description. And we are going to do a video about the giveaway showing all the games we're giving away soon.
Yeah.
This week.
So if you like this video, like and subscribe. Like I said, social media is down below in the description. And we'll see you in the next video.